I know you're tired. I know you're hurting. And I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational.
You can do it!
But that just wouldn't be our style.
Welcome to Project Reclamation, where you rebuild, re-energize, and reclaim your life. Okay, we're good. We are good. So, welcome back, everybody. I think we have a nice little...
back.
I think we're going to call this a bonus episode because Stephen Chang had to go to bed because he's tired because he's a student now and a professional. So he's going to school.
He's a professional nurse and a professional student.
He is. He's getting his nurse practitioner.
He's practicing nursing.
He's practicing nursing.
He's going to be able to
doctors
write
and nurses
scripts.
are never actual. They're never actually doing anything. They're always actually practicing, which is kind of scary. And lawyers are always practicing. What's up with all this fucking practicing? Like, I don't practice selling
practice
shit.
makes perfect, but nobody's
Practice
perfect.
doesn't make perfect. Practice
so
makes
why
permanent.
practice?
What?
Practice makes permanent. Because if you
Perfect.
practice shit the wrong way,
Oh, true.
you sort of ingrain yourself the wrong way. So practice doesn't make. I think it's a Tony Robbins thing. I'm just like kind of angry at myself that I remember this. Practice makes permanent.
Permanent.
Not necessarily perfect, but yeah. So we are here today, and we have Brett is walking around. We have me, Tim. I'm here on the microphone. Steve has left. JB is over here as well on a microphone in Tennessee.
Hey, everybody.
There he is. And I have my little sister Shannon here on the other microphone. She has stolen Steve's microphone. Steve's gone, so Shannon's on the microphone. So Shannon, we recently in 2 episodes now have congratulated you on your engagement. So congratulations again.
Thanks.
Hopefully our congratulatory stuff was
Super awesome.
okay. Good. Wanted to make sure it was classy and stuff.
It was
Because I know you guys were kind of worried about that, but I think the worry was really coming from you wanted to tell the story first.
Yes.
But once the story was told, everything's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So good. So yeah, so we we totally respected that.
It was a magical moment.
Yeah,
We were
and
there
I thank Shannon for giving me the ability to find my emotions
feel
again. It was a cathartic fucking experience. I gotta say, like, I didn't expect it. I didn't know it was gonna happen. And I just think it's funny that I called Mom and she said, well, thank God you have emotions because I was worried. I thought you lost them forever. And then I called JB. JB said the same fucking thing.
That's
and
right.
And I'm like, well, what's wrong with me? Oh, my God.
Tim's emotions have been calloused over for a number of years.
Apparently, they were stuck to the walls of my colon and I had to have a fucking
so
colonic
gross.
to.
Hey, an emotional colonic. That actually sounds like a really good band name.
Look at Shannon. You got to talk louder. I got to turn your gain up because you're not Steve.
All the way down.
Here. Yeah, you're not Steve, so I got to turn your gain up. There we go. So, Shannon, what did you say? Because my emotions are shitty? Yeah, probably. My sister's got jokes. If any of you, I think I've referenced in past episodes how, or maybe I haven't. I don't know. I like badass chicks. If you look at my hiring profile over the last few years, I tend to, and it's not that I choose women over men. It's just
I was going to say,
no, it's got nothing to do with
me being
that.
in HR, you probably shouldn't
No,
say that.
it's got nothing to do with that because I always choose the best candidate. Always,
Yes.
always. In fact, one of my trained attack dog, the one from Super North.
Yeah.
I don't want to say her name or anything. She pulled out today. And yesterday. So that was like the icing on the cake of my awesome week, right? So she's the one I wanted, but I had 3 people behind her that were very, very solid candidates.
Nice.
So I ended up with a guy who is solid, really, really solid. On his own dime, he flew from Seattle down to Portland just to interview me in person when I was totally fine with interviewing him over Skype, but he saw the need, he saw the benefit of talking in person, which I totally understand.
Nice.
Because I would have done the same thing, but. So yeah, so solid guy, and the minute that she pulled out, I was like, I called up my recruiter guy. I was like, hey dude, call homeboy and get him on the phone, see if he's still interested. Hopefully he's not too offended that I passed him up. and then of course he texted me a bunch. I was like, then I just called him. I was like, dude, I was like getting ready for hanging out with Casey, and then anyways, so yeah, so I just called him up. I was like, hey man, look, I gotta tell you, I wasn't gonna tell you this before, but you were up against somebody who's worked for me before, who is a known quantity, who I knew exactly what I get from her, which I trained her, I developed her, et cetera. But yes, I don't pick women over men because of their women, but I tend to I don't know. For some reason, I've just tended to hire a lot of badass women.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with this whole story.
I don't know.
Oh,
were you going to tell
I know
us?
exactly where I was going.
I don't
with
know.
the story. So if you are interested, where my inclination towards total respect and love for badass women comes from, it comes from my sister, Shannon. So
I never
she
knew
is,
that.
she's kind of a closet badass because I feel like, no, she's pretty comfortable with her badassness now, but I feel like she used to be kind of shy, like early on. But
Yeah.
you know, she would sort of. She
her
would
badassness is masked by a thick layer of sweetness.
It's kind of like an El Yucateco filled donut.
The plan.
It's like super sweet on the outside, and then boom, it's like spicy on the inside, habanero and shit. Like, what's up, motherfucker?
It's like
Boom.
Yeah,
you just
it's-
got
that's
you just got
very,
El
very well
Yucateco
put.
like triple X exploded in your mouth. That sounded so dirty. I'm sorry, that wasn't what I was going for.
And I would die because I can't even handle like Tabasco sauce.
Shannon
That's
is
all right,
not
'cause you're not eating yourself.
Yeah. This is all analogy. Shannon's not into spicy stuff. I can handle a little bit of spicy stuff. I'm really not that cool with spicy stuff. Brett is amazing with spicy stuff. I think I used to hang with Brett or try to hang with Brett, and I just realized, like, dude, Brett owns the spicy shit. That's not me, man.
It reminds me of the Strongest Men competition where their like veins are about to pop out and they might die, but they're like, "This is so worth it."
Dude, there's a video. I remember watching this actually when it was live. JB, you probably watched the same thing because we used to be into strongman stuff when we were in high school because we were dumb. But there was a dude, and there was it was like some thing where they were like carrying a refrigerator on their back, going down something like a track. And I remember this dude's just like leg like just snapped, and it was like horrible, man.
Have you seen the YouTube video of the dude squatting and his like anus pops out of his anus?
No, that's horrible. Jesus.
Why is it that no matter how like classy you think you are, how old you get, like poop stuff and butt stuff is just always really funny.
Because
It's
people take
because
themselves
just
people
don't
take themselves
hide
too
it. Just
seriously,
don't fight
Shannon.
it.
It's like sometimes it's funny to laugh at stupid shit, and like you don't need to take
because
yourself
buttholes
so
are
seriously.
funny.
But
And farts are funny no matter how you. I don't care if
Farts
you're
are
80,
really funny.
if you're 120, farts are still funny. Like butts are still funny, and people just take themselves too seriously. And you know what? There's a famous quote by a man named Ryan Reynolds playing a character called Van Wilder.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm quoting Van Wilder.
Oh God.
It's like
Don't
you
take
can't
life
take
too seriously.
Don't take life too
You'll never make
seriously,
it out
or you'll
alive.
never get out alive. Thank you, JB.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No, dude. I love that you knew exactly where I was going with that because that just
Yep.
that only strengthens my point. That is a phenomenal quote because it's so true. People take and that goes right into our. I don't know how many different episodes we've talked about people. Everyone approaches every situation with how they feel and their feelings. And you know what? Your feelings are important to you, but they're not important to dude over there at the grocery store. Like, I'm sorry. It is what it is. Maybe you're a millennial and you were spoon-fed the fact that participation trophies matter, but the bottom line is there's two sides to every story. And when
here's the way I look at it. If your actions don't directly interfere with somebody else's life, say like a surgeon or nuclear physicist trying to figure out how to maintain like a nuclear power plant, something like that. Maybe even driving. But if
Maybe. We're not sure.
Your actions, if you're not like sitting there with somebody's brain opened up in front of you, why take things too seriously? It just doesn't make sense to me.
But you know what though? Even your example with the surgeon, like I've worked with surgeons for years, and I understand now. Your regular doctor should have good bedside manner because he has to actually talk to you and give you news, good and bad. The surgeon has a couple of consults with you, and then he's got to open you up and he's got to work on you. A lot of surgeons are probably on the spectrum. They look at the human body like a mechanic looks at a car engine, and
Which
that's
they
cool.
should.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's cool. Like my surgeon that did my surgery, he had. I love you, Dr. Fuller, but your bedside manner kind of sucks because when he walked in to give my mom news, he had this look on his face
Oh
that
my God,
basically
we
told
thought
my
Tim
mom,
had died.
"Your son died."
Oh my God.
And my mom's like,
was like
"Oh
that
my
scene
God,
from
like, is
Adventures in
everything-
Babysitting.
Is everything okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, everything went great." And my mom was like,
Yeah.
"Doctor, you need to change your face." I was just like, "Oh my God."
She said something like
Something
that.
like I think that's exactly what she said. So, but the bottom line is, I kind of want the surgeons to not see the human part of the human because that changes the way that they deal with things because they see. I'd rather say it was a car engine because then it's like this part needs to be fixed, this part needs to be fixed, and because once they start humanizing you and looking at you like with feelings and stuff, that changes things. And then I don't know. I feel like just from all the surgeries I've been standing in the OR for hours and hours and hours, boring as fuck, by the way. It's better if the surgeon looks at you like a puzzle or a car engine, because then he can do what he needs to do and he doesn't have to think about it. Because the second you think about things, you guys are all humans. You understand this.
You second guess yourself. Isn't clouded by emotion at that point.
You second guess yourself. And JB, you are. Sorry, I talked about this last episode when you weren't even on, but that is something you're famous at, and it's getting a lot better. We're all getting better at the things we're bad at. But second guessing yourself, I don't want the surgeon to second guess himself. You know, I want him to be well rested. I want him to roll up in a Mercedes Benz or whatever car he prefers to drive, comfortable as fuck, and then I want him to open me up, do his thing, get paid, and leave. I want that guy to have a great life because he's got to save my life.
For sure.
Backtracking like 30 seconds or maybe 2 minutes. Your comment about what you think matters, but it doesn't really matter to other people. So I was reading this list and I can't even imagine. I have no idea what the list was about. It was something about like being a true adult or something. And it was like, you don't always have to act like you feel.
It's
and
so true.
I'm super emotional. I mean, I'm balanced, but like if I'm sad, I'm like, okay, let's be sad. Or if I'm happy,
you hide your emotions well.
I do. I mean, like when I have to
very
at work and
rarely
stuff.
Act like I feel.
But no, it's true.
I'm a salesperson, dude. I have to pretend I like people every fucking day. What do you think?
Well, it's funny because I don't know if I've told you this, JB. I feel like I've told you this, Tim. I wish we lived in a world where if I said hi to a stranger on the street or, even at work, I'm like, hey, how's it going? If they had something that was like bothering them that day, or if they had a really shitty morning, that they could, like, we could take the time and it wouldn't be awkward or weird for them to say, oh, you know what? I got a flat tire this morning. And,
But
one human to another.
You want that to happen. I'm saying I see that happen every day at the goddamn grocery store.
Basically turning small talk into medium talk.
No, I'm saying I wish it could happen, but we don't live in a society where it makes sense to happen.
But you're the one person who would be okay to finish that conversation. The grocery store clerk has shit to do,
but
and
it's
she
like
has
so short.
She has like 10 people behind you.
Exactly. So you get I had a shitty morning, and
yeah. No, I totally agree with you.
I think you're post-holing grocery store clerks into, a place where, because I've talked to grocery store clerks that would love to sit there and talk to you for the next 20 minutes, but they just can't because it doesn't take them 20 minutes to check me out.
Well, I'm just trying to be polite. I don't know what to tell you.
No, I know. But at the same time, I think you.
But I think also presenting your problems to a stranger.
Stop cutting him off.
Sorry, dude. I cut you. I'm sorry. I'm such an asshole. JB, finish your thought, please. I value what you have to say. What I was going to say is the grocery store clerk. What was I? What was I going to say? I don't even remember.
I don't know.
It's the way you present it, because people like Shannon and plenty of grocery store clerks. If I said, you know what, I'm pretty good, but like, this happened. That's like a respectful way to present it, and it's not. You're not shitting on someone.
Yeah.
Whereas, well, fuck, my wife left me, and this happened, and that happened, and god damn it, fucking humanity sucks. I hate the goddamn world.
Or you do the social media thing, and you say, oh, woe is me, life is so hard, I don't know if I can get through it. And then everyone's like, what's wrong? And you won't respond to anyone.
Right.
So I feel like if you cut it off and they're like, oh, how are you doing today? And they're like, oh, it's just been a really, really horrible day.
Those are people who just love,
then you stop.
They love misery, though. That's that person. And there's nothing you can do for that person, because they're going to find, oh, well, you know what? I won the lottery. It was like $400 million. And then my family members I hadn't talked to in years just called me and they wanted like handouts. And it's just really hard winning the lottery.
I could imagine that would be hard.
No, that does happen. I'm sure it's hard. But I'm just saying.
And a lot of lottery winners die.
No matter what the situation, there's certain people who are going to focus on the negative no matter what. And part of that, I think, is created by society, because the news, politics, everything, they want us to focus on the negative because they want us to feel helpless so that they can, well, the government's going to help you. Yeah, fucking right. Go ahead and put me in a FEMA camp and go kill yourself. Thanks, asshole. But
wow. Well, it's heroin. It's emotional heroin is what it is.
Yes, but
it feels good to feel bad.
But it's the same food that gives you diabetes. You got to get off that shit. People,
I know, it's like McDonald's. It's like,
what? You're looking at me funny, Shannon. But is it's
like
true?
Emotional fast food.
Well, that's what I'm saying. JB always says McDonald's for your mind.
Yeah.
That's what media is. That's what politics is. But honestly, just go back to our Serenity Prayer episode. You don't have to be religious, people. We cut out the G word. Don't worry. You know, those are all things that that people want you to focus on things you can't control, so you feel like you can't control anything. And I'm not saying everyone's evil. I'm not going down that tinfoil hat road, but you can control a bunch of things.
He put his tinfoil hat in the closet today.
It's in the closet, and then I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go get it, and then I'm gonna come out of the closet.
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to get me to say?
No.
No. But seriously,
out of the closet
though, hey, you know what? If you're gay,
on.
that's cool. I love a lot of gay people. They're awesome. It is what it is. People want you to feel like you can't control things, but there's plenty of things in your life that you can control. So go back and listen to that episode. I'm not going to go all preachy on you with Serenity Prayer, but accept the things you can't control and go control the things you can, because you have a little bubble that you can influence.
Your sphere of influence.
Well,
exactly. And if you control the things that you can control enough, it will lead up to the things that you can't. So at least it's like you're covering your ass.
Think about like, I don't know, some sort of a picture with a line, and there's little tiny circles across that entire line. We can all control our own little circle. And if every one of us makes our own little circle a little bit more positive, then that entire line, which is the world, gets more positive. And that's empowering. That's awesome. Because
exactly.
like JB has his little circle, which includes a little bit of people in California and a bunch of people in Nashville. JB, you can make your circle better. Shannon has her little circle, which is like 2.5 miles away from my circle, and then also includes my circle. And she can make her circle a little better. I can control my circle and make my circle. If we all make our circle a little bit better, like, you know what, you like Trump, you hate Trump, it doesn't matter. Go focus on, you know what, if you're mad at Trump for something he did, or like 5 years ago, if you're mad at Obama for something he did, you know what, take that anger, use it as motivation, make a casserole and bring it to a homeless shelter, or go do something positive.
If you want to go one step further, like go vote on county commissioner.
Sure. Yeah.
And then go donate some food to a homeless shelter.
If you want to change
go walk
the world,
a dog.
Make your bed in the morning.
There you go.
Yeah. I love that speech.
Do anything. Well,
love that speech.
There is so much
make
power.
Make your bed right, get your head right.
That,
to get your head right, make your bed right. It's
we've talked about on this podcast. We've talked about there was a military guy, former military guy. Okay.
Yeah, he's like a Navy admiral or something like that.
That was
by the
Mom
way, I noticed something random. I'm going to go ahead and backtrack and correct myself. We're going to do a correction here. I was talking about on a super early podcast. There was a book. I think it was a book that was written by a guy who is kind of one of these kind of motivational kind of guys. I don't even remember his name, but he had a Navy SEAL come live with him for like a month. Oh. And that was where the 40% rule came out. That was where I was talking about the 40% rule, because the first thing this guy did.
What's his name?
That Navy SEAL that I did not mention at the time because I didn't know it was David Goggins.
Yeah, David Goggins.
So let's go ahead and connect.
Who's David Goggins?
We've talked about David Goggins. He was a guy. He was a fat kid growing up in the ghetto of Detroit who decided he wanted to be a Navy SEAL. He went to the recruiting office and they were like, "Dude, you're a fat kid. You're 100 pounds overweight. You can go to Navy boot camp, but you got to lose 100 pounds in 3 months." He did it.
Wow.
And it wasn't easy. Like the first day he ran like halfway across the block and was like, "I'm tired. Fuck this. I'm going to go drink a milkshake." But then the next day he ran all the way around the block, and the next day he ran around the block twice. And it's like there was a progression, but he's also a guy who he tells you he's not that smart. I don't think that's true. I think he's smart, but I think
tons of kinds of smart.
But his
that did not sound very smart.
But his vision, the way that he sees goals is very simplistic, which I think is powerful as fuck, because he doesn't second guess himself, which is amazing. And there's definitely a power to that. So anyways, in the 3 months, he lost 100 pounds, went to boot camp, joined the Navy, then ended up becoming a Navy SEAL. Then somehow, and I don't even know how this is possible, but he became a Navy SEAL, an Army Ranger, and an Air Force Special Ops guy. And he had kind of killed it all. Then he was working out so much and never stretching that he had this like knot in the back of his head, and he was always in pain. And he went to a bunch of doctors. No one knew what to do. One doctor was like, "You should probably stretch." So he started doing yoga, even though he didn't really want to.
Oh, neat.
And as he started doing yoga, he started being like, "Well, I feel better every day." And then the knot in his head started getting smaller. And it was because literally one doctor finally told him, he's like, "Dude, you're a 6'2" guy, and like your musculature is 5'10".
Yeah.
Like you had literally worked out
so
so much
tight.
and not stretched that you were the musculature of your body was shrinking, and the pull of your your tendons and ligaments and muscles, like it's got you in pain, dude. Like that's, and this guy might not have even been like an MD doctor. He might have been like a, because I think this is like the 100th doctor he'd seen. So after that, he's still a Navy SEAL was obviously his first thing. So he was a Navy SEAL, and at the time he was doing like, he said at the most he was doing 20 minutes of cardio on an elliptical every Sunday, whether he needed it or not. So he was obviously in shape because he's what?
Once a week?
Once a week, every Sunday. 20 minutes elliptical.
Isn't that
Clearly,
supposed to be a day of rest?
now let's be realistic here. He was a Navy SEAL, so they have to do PT exercises probably once a day. So he was doing a little bit of running up and down Coronado and stuff. He had a house in San Diego, so he decided for whatever reason he wanted to do a run and raise money for some sort of a cause, and I can't remember what the cause was. So he looked up, literally, because this is the kind of guy he is. He looked up what is the hardest run in the world. And he found this ultra marathon. Your old boss used to run ultra marathons. Ultra
Like
marathon
70 miles or
in
something?
This one was 100.
Wow.
Ultra marathon in Death Valley in the summertime.
Oh, I've heard of that one.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
So he calls up the director and he's like, "Hey, like I'm a Navy SEAL. What's up? Like I want to run this race." He goes, "Are you an ultra runner?" He goes, well, "What's an ultra runner?" He goes, "Do you run?" He's like, "I know how to run." Like, and he's like, "Well, have you ever run 100 miles in 24 hours?" "No, but I probably could. I do like 20 minutes on the elliptical every Sunday." And the guy just laughs. He laughs at him, and he goes, "You have to qualify. So here's a list of races. Pick one and qualify." Wow. So he found a race in San Diego. It was a 24-hour race, 1 mile track, and you just run around the track as much as possible.
It was like a relay for life?
I have no idea. I've never heard of it. Huh. But he got to 70 miles, and then he decided to stop running to take a break, and that was a horrible decision because apparently he lost control of all his faculties. He sat after sitting down. He couldn't even get back up. But then somehow he made it back up because he ended up running 101 miles in 19 hours. So he called the guy up. He goes, "Hey, I qualified." And the guy goes, "Well, why'd you stop at 19 hours? Like you left 5 hours on the table." He's like, "You're fucking kidding me? Like I just ran 101 miles." Like, but that's how those guys, like, that's how Carl looks at that stuff. Like, so he ended up, I guess he did qualify for it, but whatever. So 2 weeks later, and at this point, like literally his wife carried him to the car, carried him to the house. He talks about sitting in the bathtub and
He had like kidney damage too, didn't he?
dirt colored stuff was coming out of his penis in the shower. Like that's how, like, yeah, he was pissing blood. Like, yeah. Oh, he had severe kidney damage, dude. And it's because he didn't know how to hydrate and stuff for that race.
That's like a whole science in itself.
He ran 100 miles in less than 24 hours without like training for it, knowing like that the amount of damage that it does to your body is insane. So you have to like prep for it. Anyways, that's just how he is though, and that's what's so, I can't even fathom how he makes decisions he makes. Like he makes decisions like Jax makes. Like, well, I need to eat, so I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to do this to get that. Like it's, and he calls it simplistic, and he says he's not that smart, but it's, I mean, there's something like I kind of envy that sometimes because I second guess the shit out of myself sometimes.
It's like that stupid cowboy kind of thing, you know?
It's totally stupid. It's totally John Wayne. You're absolutely right. So then he 2 weeks later, they'd signed up for the inaugural Las Vegas. Now it's called the Rock and Roll Las Vegas Marathon. It was the inaugural Las Vegas Marathon though. So they shut down the Strip, whatever. Now it's in December, so like people think Las Vegas. It's cold as fucking Las Vegas in December. I've been there multiple times for New Year's, and it's literally snowed on New Year's many times in Vegas. So it's cold as fuck on New Year's. So he does that, and he didn't even mention this, but so he couldn't even walk without help at this point. You have to understand that. So he's there with his whole family, his wife and his kids, and they're all obviously athletic because they're all going to run a marathon. And like I've never even run a marathon. Shannon's never. You've never run a marathon?
Half.
Yeah, I've run a half. Shannon's run a half. Never done a full. Both mom and dad have run a full, right?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Multiple halves.
A full is a lot. Steve's run a couple, but he's run a bunch of halves.
My friend Allison has run.
Allison, shout out to you. You're awesome. Is that the one that lives in Boise?
Yeah.
I love Allison. She's hilarious. and what's her husband's name? Nate. Allison and Nate. Shout out to you.
Allison and Nate.
They're awesome people. So he's already relinquished the fact that he's not going to run this marathon, right? So he's going to walk. His mom is there, and I'm guessing his mom was a little older, so she was just going to walk it. So he's going to walk it with his mom. Cool. The gun goes off,
and he does it,
and he just starts running.
What?
He gets a 3:08 and qualifies for the Boston Marathon.
Oh my god!
Which is not you know people who run the Boston Marathon, Shannon. It's not easy.
Yeah.
You know that. Wow. So. There's just this
so
guy.
Is he just like
wired.
Scared of the gun? He's like, oh god, somebody's
shooting
at me.
Yeah, because he thinks he's being chased by the cops. Way to make this into a racist joke, JB. God, you're horrible. You people from the South, I don't even know what to do with you.
What do you mean?
I'm just kidding, dude. It's a joke.
No, like, okay.
So he is so wired to never fail. It's amazing. It's impressive. I mean, we're not all like that, but I think we can take something from that though. Like this guy started out as a fat kid who couldn't even join the Navy, period, to be like a fucking desk guy. And then he did one day and he gave up after 5 minutes. And then the next day, he's like, well, I'm going to try it again. Like that. It's a story of persistence, really.
Yeah.
And now, fast forward, he is now, I guess, recognized as one of the best ultra runners in the entire world.
What? That's cool.
Yeah.
It's so crazy how you can approach goals in such a different way and be equally as awesome at it, because I was watching this TED Talk the other day, and the guy he's actually a professor at UC Santa Barbara. Woohoo.
Shout out UCSB. Go Chelsea.
And I don't know what he teaches, because I don't think it directly related to what he was talking about, but he started out, and you guys have probably seen the photo of Brad Pitt, and it was kind of the first one he had when he like actually started aging a little bit, and it's a black and white photo, and it's like a really close up of his face, and he just kind of has like a blank expression. So we put that up on the screen, and he was like, what if I told you that in 15 minutes I could turn you all into exceptional artists, and you can draw this? And they all kind of laughed. And then he said, well, what about this? And he popped a gray square onto the screen. He said, what if I told you could, in 15 minutes, I could have you draw this? And they all kind of laughed and were like, oh. And as he was talking, it panned out. And he said, when you zoom into any photo, and you zoom in and you zoom in and you keep on zooming in, all you get at the end are pixels. And so if you can take goals, like you take that concept and just break it down and break it down and break it down, you can start to chip away and take these lofty goals and break them down into teeny little actions. And he was so cool. He was talking about how he wanted to lose weight. And he was like, I can do one of two things. I can join a gym and give my money to them that I'm never going to use, or I can cut out foods that I love and be miserable every time I sit down to eat a meal. And he said, so I decided that instead of saying I'm going to lose 25 pounds, he said, I'm going to do every single one of apparently there are 33 front country hikes back home. I didn't know there were 33, but he said there are 33 front country hikes in Santa Barbara, and I'm going to do all of them. There. Yeah, so he did every single one of them multiple times, or did every single one of them, some of them multiple times, and then he ended up doing the pier to peak, like literally from a pier to the top. I don't know which range it is, but you literally run a half marathon from the pier to the peak. I know, which is ridiculous.
I think it's Oregon. They have Mount Hood is in Oregon, right?
I think so.
They have Hood to Coast, and it's where you run from the peak of Mount Hood down to literally the water.
Well, I guess just flip that around and go uphill.
That's worse. That's way worse.
Yeah,
this was a multi-person race, because it's like I think it's like 100 mile or so. It's a long race.
Got it.
It's one where you I don't know if I think you get to pick wherever you change people.
Oh,
I think you can have multiple people. You probably have up to a certain amount of people. There's probably people who run it by themselves. I have no idea.
That's crazy.
Apparently, the hike up Machu Picchu to the peak is, I think, from at least some certain point, is exactly 26 miles.
Wow.
So there's people who do it as a marathon. I was working with a general surgeon who he didn't do the run, but his wife, I guess, has run like marathons in like, I don't know, like
does he work with corporal anesthesiologist?
What?
He said general surgeon.
Oh, God, I'm an idiot. Admiral, yeah, whatever, dude. That's funny. Haha. How I Met Your Mother was a general surgeon?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Corporal anesthesiologist? Yeah,
I'm using
you guys
stupid
can't see
old
my
jokes.
You can't see my saluting. I've had too much to drink, and I can't get simple jokes.
It's all good. And we're not sitting in the same room, so it's really difficult to...
It is a little bit difficult. But I'm sitting in the same room with my sister, and she's smiling. She's so happy. I'm so happy for her. She's got a great life. I love my sister. She's amazing.
Ditto.
I love your sister.
I love you guys.
I love my sister because she gave, what's her name, the first seal of approval my sister's ever given any girl in my entire life. Unwarranted.
That's
my mom called me the next day. She's like, so your sister called me, and she said that she actually liked the girl that you brought to the dinner last night.
That's when my
That's
mean
the first
side
time
comes
she's
out.
ever said that. Are you going to the bathroom? What are you doing, dude? Nice.
Yeah.
But I realized as I took this sort of observational approach that I was letting myself be treated poorly by a lot of people to a much lesser degree. And this is when I kind of, by taking that observational approach to life, I sort of realized that, you know what, I deserve a lot. Like, not only deserve a better than this, but I deserve better than the last one, better than the last one.
Better than all of them.
Better than all of them, yeah. It made me more calloused, but it also made me realize a lot of things that I didn't realize before. So I was like, I deserve to be treated awesome. Like, why am I not doing this? And then that's when I kind of, by taking that approach, I realized so many human interactions, people are driven by their own emotions and how they feel. Yeah. When half the time, 70% of the time, especially when you're dealing with strangers, it has nothing to do with you. So don't take it fucking personally. Some guy cuts you off on the freeway. He's either a douchebag, he's on his phone, he's late for something, and that something could be important. Like maybe it's his daughter's recital or something, and you don't know any of those things, but you take it personally, and then you're angry the rest of the day, and then you go yell at people. You just need to be like, dude, let it go.
Yes.
And that goes with, people at work, Oh my God. Shut up, dogs.
Oh, I thought he was on the bed. I was like, what? I'm here.
So that goes to so many people. And JB and I talked about this. And JB said one of my favorite things I've ever heard. And I never thought of it this way. JB, thank you. You are not the hero in someone else's story. However, you're the hero in your story. But when this story is coming from someone else's perspective, when I use Janice, I'm just going to use Janice again. When Janice snaps at you at work and you take it personally and then you get mad at her and it just perpetuates the negativity. Janice may have found out this morning that something horrible happened to her dog or her husband or her kid. Or maybe Janice is just a bitch who someone else snapped at her because something bad happened to them. I mean, you never know how far the chain goes back. But you know what?
Yeah.
Be the one to break the chain. Because nothing good comes from fucking perpetuating the chain at all.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm not saying you have, I just think it would be good to talk through it. And I think it would be good. I was thinking of using mine for work because we get 3 free sessions.
I'm all for talking to people. I've done it before and I'll do it again. I mean,
or maybe they could give you some tips on, I don't know. I'm just saying it's there and it should be free. No, for sure.
Although I have to be honest, I think just talk to anyone. And talking to JB and Steve all the time now.
Yeah.
It helps me a lot.
Super helpful.
Because I'll be honest, I haven't murdered old Tim. He's around. I just keep him in a box. What's his name keeps all of his ventriloquist dummies in a box. He comes out every once in a while, and then I put him back in the box. You're looking at me like this.
You lost me.
Really weird. Old Tim is a little bit angry. He doesn't control his. There you go, Jeff Dunham. He has all the ventriloquist dummies.
Okay. I thought you were referencing like a horror movie.
No. Literally Jeff Dunham. He's a comedian.
No, I know.
He has
the
old
man.
Ahmed, the dead terrorist. He has the weird,
old man.
old Henry or Harry or something like that.
Yeah.
He's hilarious, by the way. And by the way, I don't know if we talked about this, but you and I, JB, had talked about those the Liam Neeson things. Little Bo Peep lost her sheep because they were taken. That was it was Frank Caliendo. Of course, how do we not realize that? Of course, it was Frank fucking Caliendo. Really funny though. So they have Frank Caliendo. You know who he is, right? He has all the voices. He does all the voices. Ton of voices. Look him up. He's a funny voice. So he does a Liam Neeson, but Liam Neeson literally from the movie Taken, reading nursery rhymes. So
how funny.
Little Bo Peep lost her sheep because they were taken. And just that's the easiest one because it's the only ones I can remember, but it's really funny. So on Sofa King, Brad, who he does some voices, but yeah, so he always does that one. And JB and I are he's really good at it, way better than I am. Hilarious. So I had to look it up, and we were talking about it on a past episode, and we weren't sure if it was actually Liam Neeson because
it sounds like him.
So I googled it. It's Frank Caliendo, of course.
Got it.
It's a logical answer. Why didn't I figure that out? But whatever. Anyways, it is what it is. So welcome to the bullshit hour with Shannon and JB and Tim. So Shannon, what do you want to talk about?
I need to get my shower head.
I gave you a shower head.
JB is gonna.
JB is fading fast. JB, are we pretty much done?
Yeah.
Are we done? JB, what are your final thoughts? Are you serious, dude? So we're not going to have this? This is going to be a perfect bonus episode with Shannon, you and me.
Most of the stuff we can't even put on there.
I guess you haven't really talked in 25 minutes. So
it's like an hour and a half.
Maybe it's fine. All right. Well, Shannon, do you have any final thoughts? Thank you for being a guest, by the way. Congratulations on your nuptials. Wait, are the nuptials once you get married? I don't know this shit. Congratulations on your engaged.
Congratulations on moving to the next chapter.
The next chapter.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Shannon, Nick, great guy.
He is.
Kind of jealous, but I'm happy.
Jealous of me? Because you think he's a great
literally
guy?
Didn't date a bunch of people, and then the first serious boyfriend you've had in a long time. Boom, perfect guy. Boom, married or boom, engaged. Gonna get married. But then again, maybe it's just I have horrible taste.
Listen to the song "First Try" by Johnny Swim. That's what it's all about.
Shannon, it was her first at bat in the majors, and she hit a home run. What can I say? Shannon and Nick, congratulations. You guys are fucking awesome. We love you. And Nick, I'm sorry you thought you got one brother-in-law. You really just got 3, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're stuck with an Asian and a Southern guy and Tim. I don't know. Anyways, Shannon, we love you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Ditto.
And JB, I love you. Nashville, Tennessee.
Go to sleep.
So be good, as JB would say. Peace out. And have a great week or
Peace
hour
out,
or 5
sprout.
Minutes. Peace out, little sprout, says Shannon. Say it again.
Peace out, little sprout.
I love it. Goodbye.
Bye, JB. Have a good night.
So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.